everybody. It is Tuesday evening. Happy Tuesday to you all. I'm feeling very wiped out today. I'm very tired. I worked really hard today. I just got myself in a zone and just, yeah, oh god, tired myself. Right, this week. Not a lot going on this week. And so I thought it was the perfect excuse to start doing some organising. If you haven't been watching my vlogs for the past couple of weeks, I've not really talked about it too much, but me and Chris are in the process of getting our first house together. Still in the paperwork stage. We've had our first setback. Hopefully not too major of a setback. It's not a, well, it's an inconvenient setback that we're in the middle of sorting. So yeah, that's all going on. But it looks like we are getting closer and closer to getting our first place together, which is super exciting. Both me and Chris still live at home, and so neither of us have moved out before, so there's a lot of stuff that needs sorting and buying and all that incredibly fun stuff over the next few weeks. There were some things on my to-do list that I really wanted to sort before we moved. They're things that I know I want to organise and have wanted to organise for a while, but just haven't gotten off my arse and done it. So I'm going to do it now. One of those things was organising all of my photos. I have a lot of miscellaneous photo albums. Growing up I really liked having my own photos, and my mum would always make sure to like get duplicates of photos whenever we got our camera developed. So I always had my own albums and my own collection of photos, but none of them are in the right order, and not all of them are clear as to what they are, and also there are some that I really don't need to keep, which sounds harsh because they're photos, and generally even if they're terrible photos you want to keep them, but I'm literally talking like I used to get given a disposable camera for every school trip I ever went on, and I used to need to use up the film that day. I couldn't save anything, all of it needed to be used up. And so there are some really random photos of just like kids in my class, not even like recognisably, just like the back of their head and like a flower. I'm thinking specifically of my year 3 trip to Wisley Gardens. Got some random photos of that I know somewhere that I just don't need to keep. Just don't need to keep them. So yeah, I want to go through all my photos, and I want to do something that's going to make that process 10 times longer, and that's write on the back of them approximately when it was, who is in it, and what we were doing. Sounds very like OTT and like not necessary, like generally you remember, and there's like, you know, an element of mystery looking at photographs and like not knowing where things came from exactly, but appreciating the picture regardless. But I always just think of my nana, and she always used to write on the back of her photographs, and that was something that we really appreciated when she passed, was being able to look at photos and like flipping it over and being like, oh, this was her with her friend Ed and John. Not that we have any idea who Ed and John are, but it was nice to have that. It was nice to have that context because she wasn't around to give it to us. It doesn't need like an essay, but just like a little sentence being like, this is where we were, this is when it was, and so I was approximately this age, this is who's in it. I just want to have a collection of photos where I do that. I don't know what photo albums I've got either. I know I've got a couple of like kiddie albums that I don't particularly want anymore and might want to transfer to a nicer album. Might ask for some photo albums for my birthday maybe. But I also want to get photos like for frames for when we get our new house. We have a couple of photos out at the moment of me and Chris. I've got some up there. Let me show you the ones that I've got so far. I have this little thing. That's a Polaroid of us at a club. I haven't written on that one yet. This one I've written on. So this is a photo of me and Chris when we went to Hampton Court Palace, and we went ice skating in the ice rink. And I've written on the back of it December 2017, because that's what it was. I've written Georgia and Chris, because that's who's in it. And then I've written skating at Hampton Court Palace, because that's what we were doing. And that's just a nice little, it's just a simple little thing. And I love that. I love that that's there. And we have that memory. And I like to keep that photo. in this little frame. This is a picture of me and Chris at his brother's wedding in October. It's a nice photo. Basically that's what I want to do with all of my photos. I just need to go through them and we'll decide which ones I actually want to keep, organise them, order them in some capacity, and then start writing on the back of them. So I want to make a start in kind of ordering them and deciding which ones I want to keep, and then throughout the course of this week start, you know, just, you know, getting myself sorted, getting it a bit organised. Right. Let's get going, let's do this, let's start organising some photos. I forgot that the straw does that. Every time, I forget. We're not taking this desk with us when we move. Okay. Ah! We're off to a good start, people. Stop trying to eat the camera, please. Come here. Come here. Stop doing that. Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Does it look different to you? It's lighter. Time has passed. This is my work outfit today. I haven't worn this blouse in ages. It's got a face on it. I thought it was cute. Literally just got in from work, feeling really tired. I slept horrendously last night. One of those nights where I woke up at 3 in the morning and then just didn't go back to sleep until like 5:30, 6ish. So that's fun. Makes getting up to go into the office really difficult, doesn't it? I finished my first book of the year, which is really exciting. Let me go get it. Sorry, slips. Oh, Jesus. You're gonna do what you were doing a second ago now, aren't you? Come here. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. What are you being so difficult for? Yes. First book of the year finished. I did it. I finished a book. One of my New Year's resolutions was to read more. I didn't give it a number. I didn't like tell myself I had to read a certain amount of books in the year, because the second I put a challenge on it, it immediately becomes like homework, and I didn't want to do that to myself. But I've been making an effort to put aside time to read. Maybe not every night. Most nights though I've been reading. Not every night I've been reading a lot. There have been some nights where I've only had the capacity to do a chapter. There were some nights where the characters were really annoying me, so I could only stomach it a chapter at a time. But I finished it. I finished it. It's the second in the Magpie Society series, which is the book that Zoella did with Amy McCulloch. It's a duology that they co-wrote, and I read the first one at the end of last year. It was one of my 2 books that I read last year, because I only managed 2 books last year, which is why I wanted to up my game a bit for 2022. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's very Pretty Little Liars, and I have the same kind of critiques of it as I would do Pretty Little Liars. It's got lots of cringy moments in it, but the overarching kind of mystery is engaging enough that you like want to find out what happens. Also, I didn't guess the murderer. It's a murder mystery in a boarding school, and obviously throughout the entire of the series they're finding out who the murderer is. I didn't guess it. I thought I would guess it. I thought it's a YA, it's generally aimed at a younger audience, surely I'll be able to get it. And so I made a mental list of like obvious characters it would be, that I was like, it probably won't be them because that's too obvious and I want to be clever. So then I made a list of non-obvious people. I bet it's going to be one of these. Wasn't. It wasn't. It was a person I didn't suspect even slightly throughout the entirety of the series. And it was one of those like moments where lots of things that they had said that just never got followed up on, that I'd kind of forgotten never gotten followed up on, suddenly all made sense, and I was like, oh, huh? She's been on my lap while I've read this every time. Every time I've read this, you've been on my lap. Did you enjoy it? If you like Pretty Little Liars or Gossip Girl or those kinds of like set in a school, kind of young girls solving mysteries, then you'll probably enjoy it. I think it was 3.5 weeks. Let me get my phone. Oh no, it's the other pocket. Because I have a reading list on my Notion, which I feel like is the most like cringe hashtag just girly things that I do. I started it on the 1st of January and I finished it on the 25th. That's pretty good going for someone who only read 2 books last year. Taking me like 5 months to read 2 books. To have read 1 in less than a month is good going for me. So I'm patting myself on the back. Well done, Georgia. My next book that I'm going to start is When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Hope Fletcher. If you watched my daily vlogs, you might remember I went through a Carrie Hope Fletcher binge on YouTube at the end of last year. I just got back into musical theatre quite intensely from last summer onwards, and Carrie Hope Fletcher is a musical theatre actress who also vlogs, which is like the dream combination for me. So I binged her channel, and she also does a lot of videos on books and has a lot of reading recommendations, which I've made note of to add to my list, the things that she talked about that sounded interesting to me. But she's also written some books herself, and this was one of them that I felt like looked the most interesting. I got it for Christmas, and I did start reading the first couple pages on Christmas Day when I got it. The prologue. It's kind of hard to describe the plot, so I'll just read the back. Ghosts of productions past haunt the theatre, or so the story goes. Can Oscar and Olive get to the truth of the matter before tragedy strikes once more? So it's like a romance story, but it's like a ghost mystery story as well. Typically romance stories aren't really my thing, but you throw a bit of mystery in there as well, and I'm intrigued. So yeah, I'm excited to start this. I'll probably start this tonight actually. Very chuffed with myself for finishing my first book of the year and moving on to my second already. It's great. Gives me an excuse to ask for more books for my birthday. We all know that we love to get books but never actually read them. Anyway, photos. Going to continue with that this evening. Wednesday night I went through all of them just to kind of see what I had, and I started with my like school photos and my big theme park photos that I had that were in the plastic wallets, which I think I'm probably going to get rid of, which is a good job that I wrote on the back kind of where we were, what we were doing, etc, etc. So I started on those. Now I'm going to go through my actual like photo albums and like photo wallets that I've got, start deciding which ones I don't want to keep because I've got to do that soon, and also just start writing on the backs of all of them, explaining what they are, trying to remember as best I can. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing with my evening this evening. I've got a productive burst, but first I want to get out of my work clothes and into some cozies, set up something fun on the TV. I might watch Hannah Montana. I started watching Hannah Montana last year on Disney Plus because I said to myself, the second I get Disney Plus I'm going to binge Hannah Montana, because that was my Disney show. I stopped and I can't remember why, but I need to get back into that Hannah Montana binge. So I think I'm gonna watch Hannah Montana while I organise my photos.
Some people have to say how they want you to take the next 10 steps of your day. Yeah. Some people wanna tell you what they want you to do, but I'ma let my
to the stars. And if you stand in my way, your words will mean nothing, no. You cannot hold up my rocket from going where it's gonna go.
I'ma take it, push through, push through.
Saturday morning, and we're having a really nice chill Saturday morning. Actually, it's been really nice. We've got no plans this weekend, which is really nice. Just kind of gonna spend it de-stressing from the week. Didn't have a great day yesterday, had a bad day at work, and then we had some more setbacks on the house front, so you know, the mood wasn't particularly high and I was just really tired. And to top it all off, I didn't mention this on Thursday, I found this out Wednesday really. I have tonsillitis again. This is like the 4th time in like 4 months. I've had it, I think in the past year I've had it probably about 7 times. I think it's gotten to that stage where we have to talk to the doctor about getting them taken out. Because it's just getting a bit ridiculous. With all the things that I've got going on with my throat, having tonsillitis every month, one makes it really difficult to actually identify what's wrong with my throat in terms of cysts and things like that. But also it's just like another thing that's making it really difficult. I just want to sing again. You know, I just want my voice to be in a place where I can actually try to sing again, and this is just another thing that sets me back every time it happens. So I have to talk to the doctor next week after my throat ultrasound that I had last weekend to kind of follow up and go to an ENT, and I think when I have that conversation I'm going to ask if I can have a conversation separately about getting my tonsils taken out, because I just can't keep getting tonsillitis every month. Anyway, we're on the last of the photos. We've got albums now. They're definitely not in any kind of order. There's a photo of me there when I was like 9, and then the photo below that I'm like 2. So there's absolutely no order to these pictures whatsoever. And I'm gonna go through these. I'm gonna try my best to identify where we are and what we're doing and approximately how old I'm going to be. There were some photos that I was looking at on Thursday where I couldn't figure out what we were doing or how old I was. Of me and my sister making snowmen, or I mean that's a blob. That's not a snowman, that's just a blob. And like I want to keep these, but I'm trying to guess how old I was when this was taken. My sister looks about 5, 6. I don't know, but these photos are all going to be younger than that and all in the wrong order. So last of the photos, we're gonna get them finished today. We're gonna do it. And I've also got a collection of ones to throw out. I'm putting them in this wallet here. They're mostly just like photos of like people who I'm not in touch with anymore, and I'm not in the photo either. Plus I know a lot of them are on Facebook anyway, so if they like desperately wanted these pictures, then they could get them. And then I've just got some like really bad, like, why was this kept? What is this? This is literally just a blur of grass. Why do I still have it? So photos like that. This is my bin. I'm going to carry on going through these albums. I've got 3 to go through. That's what I'm gonna do for right now, and then Chris is gonna come back. He's gone out for breakfast with his dad, and he's gonna come back and we're gonna make some lunch. It's our Saturday. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Where did I put the pen that I brought downstairs? Oh no. Turns out, like, I would have been like under 10 years old when I wrote this. I've tried already to do this in the past. And I can see it on other pictures as well. There's a picture of my sister, and I've written on the back. I've written on the back the exact date. How would I have known? That's crazy. I don't know if I've done that with all of them, but I thought that was pretty cute that I've already like started trying to write on the backs of these pictures. That's cute. I'll try and tidy it.
I'ma take a push through. push through. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'ma tug and push through you. I'ma tug and push through.
Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning. It is the following day, and I've officially finished. I've officially finished organising all of my photos. Yesterday afternoon I finished. I got the last of them done. There was only a handful that I couldn't figure out how old I was, and therefore didn't really write where we were or what we were doing. There was only a couple where I couldn't figure out where we were as well. Most of them were quite easy to remember. It was literally just like maybe 5 or 6 photos. Pretty good going. Pretty good going. I didn't end up putting them in order in the end, purely because I want to get new photo albums. I don't want these ones because they're kind of falling apart and they're a bit kind of childish looking. I'd like to get some nice photo albums to put them all in, because I think that would be nice, and then I'll order them then. But they are all now like written on, so I know, you know, a vague timeline. It's going to be a lot easier to order them now. I know I've got dates on the back of them all. And then I've also got a nice big pile to throw out. I don't know how to throw out photos because they're not recyclable, are they? Feels strange just putting them straight in the bin, but I guess that's all I have to do, isn't it? I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. The first kind of thing on my to-do list of things we've got to get organised and sorted for when we eventually get our first place and we eventually move in was getting these photos sorted. I want to be able to pick some from these albums to just have out in my house, so it's nice to have them all sorted and I know where they are and that they're written on. I'm really glad that I pushed myself to do that this week, because like I was saying, this week was a very kind of uneventful week, and so I'm glad that, you know, it was all taken care of this week and I don't have to think about it anymore. I've got a long list of other things that need organising. Some are less fun, most of it's just paperwork organising. Gotta buy some folders and organise all of my paperwork in that front. It's been a good week. I mean, we've had some, you know, bad days here and there, bad news here and there, but overall I feel like it's been a productive week. I've gotten photos organised, I finished my first book of the year, which is awesome. It's just been a good week. It's been a good week, and I'm gonna try and be quick on this bit here because I recognise this is a very long vlog. I'm gauging my weekly vlogs at the moment are going to be between approximately 15 and 25 minutes depending on what it is we get up to, and because I was super productive this week there was just a lot of footage. But I am going to end today's vlog here this morning. I'm going to edit you later. Me and Chris are going to go visit hopefully potentially future house this afternoon and go for a walk. It's been a good week. It's been a good week. Thank you for joining me on this week. I hope that it's inspired you to maybe look at your own photo albums and see what you've got and write on the back of them. It's good to write on the back of them. You don't need to be as thorough as me, but you know, it's nice to kind of write approximately the year at least, and then approximately, you know, who's in it and what you're doing, because you know, when you're old and grey and you might not remember, and when you aren't with us anymore and your future grandkids are looking at the photos, they might want to know. They might want to know. I was watching an episode of Friends last night, and it was the episode where Monica and Ross's grandma died, and at the end they're looking at a picture of her grandma in her 20s at a bar, and they flipped it over and it said the year and what they were doing, and I was like, it's a thing. It's a thing, and it's definitely worth doing. If you have the time. It's just a time-consuming thing to do. I'm going to end this week's vlog here. Thank you very much for joining me on this busy, productive week, and I will see you again next week. Bye!
Your words will mean nothing, no. You cannot hold up my rocket.